In fact, most of these prophets who engaged, at the level of their engagement in scriptures, okay, function, they had an off-pulpit functionality. I repeat, they had an off-pulpit functionality. I can mention some very vital, key prophets in scripture who actually function in government executive sessions and councils. Okay, Joseph, as a prophet, uh, do not have a pulpit ministry, was not even speaking, so to speak, to Israel and just speaking to his people. He operated in government cabinets. So his prophetic resource or operation was engaged in the environment of the marketplace. Okay, and I was talking about the prophetic being a spiritual resource the believer can harness. It is not just something that is supposed to be engaged to dazzle us in the church. The purpose of having prophet at the forefront and functioning the way they function in the church is to cause the saints to enter into that level of operation so that that operation can be deployed off pulpits and off meetings operation that can happen in corporate executive session, business session, and wherever the believers can find themselves. Okay, because the real operations of believers are not in the church. The real operations of believers are far beyond the walls of meetings and church. Okay, so there must come a time where we must begin to pay attention to the saints' capacity to tap into this kingdom resource, this prophetic resource, which is actually multidimensional in nature, okay, but can be deployed for, conquest and penetration in the marketplace. Okay, so I mentioned Daniel, I mentioned Joseph. In fact, people like Isaiah and other prophets had their presence localized, their function and operation localized in the king's court. In fact, it's the reason why Isaiah spoke about his vision that he had when King Uzziah died, because he was one of the council member in the king's court, because he brought forth his counsel, engaging his prophetic capacity. Okay, so the that means that we must have very sound prophetic functionality, okay, right now in the church. Okay, now when I say in the church, I mean in God's people. God's people must rise up, because as in this season, the prophetic resource is one of God's, or one of the church major kingdom assets in the world today. I want to say it again. Okay, the prophetic is one of the kingdom's major asset, kingdom resource, and asset in the world today. Okay, now when I speak about the prophetic, it means the believers the believer understand the technology and the mechanics of engaging the prophetic. He's not waiting for the season where the water is stirred by external force. No, he will have to learn the mechanism of tapping, engaging his spirit, and flowing in the prophetic at will as occasion demands. Because if you're waiting for this external, like you see in the book of John, the Bible talking about the angel coming to stir the waters, so that the healing only happens when such external force prevails. I mean, the absence of such external intervention, nothing happens. No, we don't need that kind of paradigm for the prophetic where you wait for a prophetic office, wait for the prophet alone, okay, and wait for maybe after you've done your long fast or long days, you now wait for 2 times in a year to operate at that level. No. It means because of the demand that we are currently witnessing, the believer must be up. He must upgrade himself spiritually. And one of, like I said, one of the functions here we're talking about is this prophetic resource, this prophetic dimension. Okay, he must learn to tune into the prophetic at will as occasion demands.